Oh, hello there. Welcome back to another day in the survival series. Just doing a little bit of gardening out here. Making this area a little more cozy. Got ourselves a little bench we can sit on underneath the tree. Oh, that's such a nice picture. Yeah, I like that. Oh, gotta get rid of the bush. Yeah. Yeah, I was just decorating this place a little bit, make it look nicer. I like that. It's a nice place to chill. Now, what are we doing today? So, I have a couple thoughts. I think I might potentially do a little bit of fiddling with the terrain a bit more here, because like this obviously looks really bad. So I gotta find out how I want this terrain to look here. And our storage is getting a little bit full. Take a look up here, my wood barrel is starting to overflow into my dirt and ground and gravel barrel, and my plant barrel is a little full as well. So what I'm thinking is, I've had a couple thoughts previously. I want to have another tower like over here, and then have like a bridge from this tower to this tower. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is end up building a tower here. But looking at this now, I think what I need to do is pull more of my terrain, like my custom terrain, over here first. So I think it'd be good to kind of get the custom terrain maybe all the way around the garden area and this little patch here. And then we can actually put the tower on top of that. And a goal that I have with this particular base, at least the starter base, I want to have every color, every block potentially somewhere within this base, which I think will look really cool. And then using link techniques like I did with this one, where I have a couple colors that match of each build, so they kind of pull each other together. So there's a little bit of cohesiveness, at least in having one sharing like color palette between everything that gets built here. But yes, that's kind of the plan. Expand the terrain and get another tower built in so I can expand my storage so that... Shush you. So I can expand my storage so that I won't have an overflow. And the idea will be to kind of, for example, maybe make that tower completely all of my wood materials or something like that. So start like theming my storages. In fact, maybe I'll just do towers for all my storages and have different materials per storage. That'd be really cool. I'll just have to figure out a palette. But anyways, let's get to the terrain. I think a good place to start is going to be adjusting this. In fact, I think I'm just going to replace all this with moss. See how that looks. In fact, I could probably even put one there to kind of give it a bit of a slope. Maybe even one there as well to kind of keep the slope idea going. I was looking at this and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do originally with it, but I think this will work. Because what I can do with this now, since it's on this level, I can actually just kind of follow where this already is and bring this out a bunch. And then I have obviously got to adjust it here for certain height levels. We're going to have to go into the cave and keep expanding it, but just that right there already kind of makes this feel a little better. So it's not so weird, doesn't have like that straight line. And then obviously once we get this platform all filled in, we can then go back around and add our rocks and stuff all the way along the edge to make it look fancy. Scary hole. No, scary hole's down there with all the mobs. After a little bit of fiddling, we got ourselves a bit more of a bigger circle here. I'm not quite sure if this is exactly how big I want it yet. But then we kind of started to round this out a little more, so this has a bit more of a place to stand. And then down here as well is starting to come together, so it's not completely just hanging out and doing nothing there. So I feel like terraforming projects should be kind of done little by little over time, rather than trying to, you know, jump into a gigantic, overwhelming project and try to complete it from the first get-go. You can always do little bits and pieces, and it's always good to, like, you know, how I started here, do a tiny piece, see if you like it, and then start moving that and putting it into other areas. So I think what I want to do now is actually get at least a frame for like how I want or at least the base shape of how I want the tower to be. I think I want it to be slightly bigger than this one. Now that we've kind of like determined the height that we're going for, I was kind of messing with a couple blocks to get our block palette going. And I think I want to start with cobble at the bottom, transition to andesite, go into the smooth stone, and then the regular stone. And then after that, we can kind of transition into some of our copper blocks. So what I'm going to do now is break down some of these bits. And my idea is to at least try to do roughly 3 blocks in height as the initial layer, and then transition from there. So if we take all of this down, and we build it all up to 3 high, then our next step we can do is we can break out a couple of these here and there to help it transition more. Because when it comes to doing a transition, you need at least a little bit of the other texture kind of seeping in so that it kind of blends them together. So we'll just keep on moving on up until we have all the stone layer in. Just looking at this now, the kind of checkeredness of this smooth stone kind of disrupts it a little bit, but maybe it'll be okay when we add in the copper. So I'm going to try adding some copper along the top just to see how that looks. Well, I don't have enough copper right now, but it might actually look okay once we get that all the way up in there. So I'm going to continue gathering lots of copper and then come back to this and see how we think about it. Now that we return with the copper, I realized that our current smelting setup is not efficient, and I have lots of copper I want to smelt. So what we're going to do is actually build one of the very first kind of like automation things for our base. What we're going to need is iron and some wood. We'll go with the oak wood to make these. So what we're going to end up doing is making several chests. So I'm just going to grab a stack of planks to make myself 8 of those. And we're going to turn 4 of them into hoppers. Now hoppers are a fancy new item that I've mentioned once before, but if I can go out the right door, we'll head over here into the bottom of this tower. And what I want to do actually is go like this, just put a double chest here. We're going to stick the hopper, we're going to hold shift and we're going to right click on it, and as you can see that bends and is pointing towards that. That means any items that go into the hopper are going to go straight into this chest. And I realized I need more things, but what we're going to do is put 2 blast furnaces here and 2 blast furnaces here. So if we ever need to do a bulk amount of, actually, well, maybe we'll put furnaces on one of them potentially, because furnaces are good for a variety of things. We might need to be able to smelt specifically like cobble for stone or something. So let me get this set up. I need to make a few things and then I'll show you the final little machine that it is. So we'll start with the top area here, which I separated these two specifically so the items related to furnaces and blast furnaces won't get mixed up when they get pulled out, because how a double chest works, if I were to put, you know, a stack there, it'll actually split it between the two. So that gets spread evenly. Over here, we don't want that to happen. So that's why the 2 chests are placed down separately, which you can do if you hold shift when placing a chest. So for example, if I hold shift, it won't connect them. But then we have these chests up here on the second level. And what these second level chests are for is we'll put like coal or wood, any sort of fuel source, and then it'll automatically get inputted in here. As you can see, the top part is where the item to be smelted ends up. In the back is how we get the smeltable item, and then over here is the output, which gets pulled out the bottom. So now that we have that available, I can stuff all the copper I need into here and have it smelt over time on its own. Let's show this in action. So as you can see, the copper comes down into here. Once it gets smelted, it immediately gets pulled out, and the coal will slowly flow in through there. And as we're done, we have our finished complete copper outputting here in the bottom. It's a very nifty and quite simple machine to set up. It is a little expensive because each of the hoppers require several iron ingots per one, so that's 5, 10, 15 just to get one little machine set up. And you can actually tile these and make them like a little sliver if you wanted. So you do chest, hopper, smelter, hopper, chest, hopper, and chest. Or you can do, you know, a barrel or any sort of other inventory, because most inventories can be pulled from via a hopper. Well, I've got most of the tower done. I did run out of brick, and I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. So what I'm thinking is that I add more details and just leave it how it is, and I can always come back and change it later if I need to. And something I noticed when I was looking at it, I felt like, you know, spruce just like fits with this really well. So I might do a similar tactic that I did to this over here, but using spruce, and I might try mixing in the colored walls as I go up and then use spruce as like the detailing block for this. I think that could work really well. Because I just looking at it from here, the spruce just gives a nice like feel between these two, or I guess these combination of blocks. So I'm gonna grab more clay, and I'll probably go chop a bunch of spruce trees down too as well, so that I can get to building out this tower more. While I let the bricks continue to smelt, I'm going to experiment with doing this. Can I even get onto that? Yeah. Guess I could use my water. Let's try that. Yeah. There we go. Don't think it'll murder anything. Should be okay. I should be able to just jump in place, and we'll do the every other for now, because I feel like that's a good place to start, and we can decide if we want to do something different beyond that. Let's take a look-see. Does it work? I think if I had something that was orange colored there instead of the spruce, I guess I could try doing acacia fences maybe instead. That might help pull it together. Do I happen to have any acacia here? I do not. I don't want acacia trees right now. I've already got some. Because the red's a little bit contrasty there, because it doesn't kind of fit. It works there because it blends, and then the andesite works here, and here, and here, because it also blends okay, but this doesn't blend. This isn't quite gonna work. Guess I can try it with just andesite and see if that potentially works. Let's try this clutch again. Oh, it worked. Yeah, I didn't die. I might die. Yep. Did not successfully bucket clutch that. Nope, not at all. Stop being a scrub and actually use scaffolding. Let's find out what this looks like. The blocks just want to run away. I missed one. Hmm. You know, I think that might work. I might just try it since it kind of keeps a similar style with we have on this one, but then it should kind of pull them together because it's, first of all, the same shape, but then it's also spruce fences. Now I know this build's kind of contrasty due to the gray and the orange, which is not really something that exists here as much. But I think as we add details and kind of cover some of that up and add in windows which will remove some of the solid blankness, I think it'll start to look better. And as we kind of mesh in the area around it and potentially, maybe I'll push this platform out more and maybe even put another willow tree next to this tower to kind of help blend it in as well. Which I think could be pretty cool, and do like a shelf so this area can kind of follow that around. And so we have almost this layer, and we have this bottom layer. So I think getting this area to be very shelfy and plateauy will look really cool. Let's attempt another clutch. Yay! That's actually really easy. You just hold shift as you fall down. Now it's time to put in the first floor, and I want to make sure I do a top slab because then I'll be able to actually place things. Because if you do a bottom slab, you unfortunately won't be able to place anything on top of those. And then what we're going to do as well is we're going to grab these ladders. I'm just going to put one on this side. We can put a trapdoor right there, and we can fill the rest of it in with slabs. And as we're going up too, we'll just put a temporary torch in the middle. And I think, yeah, I'll just keep doing the ladder all the way up. And this one was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do I do sets of 5 maybe? I just realized something. You could make a pretty interesting looking ladder by using it with a bunch of trapdoors mixed in to add variety to it. That's kind of cool. I think you could do like an every other or something, but we won't be doing that here. And I can put in the floor. Well, I don't do the floor yet. I don't think. Or I could have the top layer just be a little bit bigger. I think that could work really well. In fact, maybe what I'll do for the top layer is once you get up here, we can have a staircase instead. So let's just drop a crafting table in there. Grab a couple stairs, and then maybe we can do is just kind of run along this edge like this and kind of spiral up. But maybe a spiral staircase could be really cool. Let's just put these in temporarily so we have something to build around. Didn't want that there. Keep building up till it will reach this spot right here, and then that will get us to the top. Might potentially do one more layer across here, but we'll figure it out when we get to that point. And in the meantime, we can put in, I think a bunch of slabs could work. Let's try slabs. Let's see if we can actually walk under them. So we want to make sure we have enough room to actually, yep, right, that's perfect. There we go. Add a little interest to this final floor, and it'll give us access to the top once we complete building that. There, I popped a couple of holes into it. Give it some windows. We got at least a base for the roof area or the top of the tower. I haven't decided what I want on the very top yet, but I think this is pretty good progress, and I do think I need to make the window there. Let's pop ourselves over to the other side here and kind of see what it looks like from another angle. Very interesting, actually. It almost looks slightly rectangular, and I do think I want to get some of this H stuff in there, mixed in. Probably from here, potentially, and here. I don't know, I haven't quite decided where I want it. It does look like it might be better with the gray. Or just have a few little patches of it, could be cool. This tower is making good progress. It has definitely been a challenge though. I haven't been able to put this together as quickly as I have done on my other builds. And we do have a very defined line across here, so there's certain areas I think we're going to need to like pull the copper down right there. And probably pull some brick down right there to get rid of those very defined looking lines. Because like, if you look at that one, that actually looks pretty good because it's not a complete flat line there or there. Now that we've kind of taken a good look at it, we know our next step. In fact, I might even need to pull this copper down here as well to keep that from being a completely flat line. Though the windows might also help as well. Guess we'll have to see. I'll keep fiddling away, trying to get the windows looking good and some sort of topper to this thing. So after a bit of fiddling, I think I kind of figured out the details, at least around the windows and such. I made a couple of balconies to kind of add a little variety and interest, because otherwise it would have all looked very, very samey. I decided to go for something kind of interesting for the top here. I've got andesite walls on top of oak, oak on top of that, then bamboo, fences, and then copper rods or the lightning rods. I think that's pretty cool. It's a very interesting style, and because I wasn't feeling like a roof was going to make sense on this build. We have great views when we're up there too. Yeah, look at that. You can see far and wide. Yeah, I know I talked about this before, having some sort of tower up here. And I think this looks really cool. In fact, just made me wonder, what if in the future I go like, you know, over there and build a tower and then build towers all along the way to other areas so that you can see them within the render distance. So like maybe a tower up on that one, or even a tower up on that in the distance could work as well. So we do have at least two locations. One out that way is like where the trial chamber is in our acacia build. And then I think roughly, I want to say in that direction, maybe. That's where the cherry blossom build is way out there. Eventually I'd like to have, you know, roads and rails and everything, some sort of way to travel to those locations other than just running randomly through the world. Now for the next step. I want to try to get a bridge to there, so I end up taking out this part of the balcony. And I figured I would kind of just start mixing in a couple different blocks. In fact, I might just do something like that to get an elevation happening. So we have something like this. I would just keep curving over and eventually connect into that up there. So we have a bridge that you can easily access this, since this is technically a storage tower, and so is this, even though it's got our smelter down there. But I'm going to start filling up the other 3 floors with a variety of chests and barrels and things. So we have a larger amount of storage. I think that bridge is as good as it's probably going to get, considering it's a sloped bridge. It does have lots of kind of weirdness due to the slabs and how trapdoors can go on there. It actually turned out pretty good now that I've got like everything in. Kind of feels like it fits, and I did kind of a merging of the bamboo and the spruce so that it kind of felt, I guess, like the two buildings are connecting. Definitely gonna have to let this sit for a while, and I may never change it. It may stay like this forever, but yeah, that's kind of how sometimes builds can go. You never know if something quite fits until you let it kind of settle. And up here, I think it looks pretty decent considering that you got kind of half a trapdoor there and then a full trapdoor here. But due to how you can place trapdoors, you can actually finagle it to have it make sense so it looks like one consistent railing across the whole thing. I do have 2 graves of which I need to build here. So let's do that. Oh, I forgot stairs. 1 second. Now we can actually get to building this. And I thought I could also mix in a little bit of the andesite. And I think this direction might be a good way to do it. Not andesite. This is granite. Silly me. But maybe it goes on the bottom. Let's try that instead. Don't feel like that is the spot for it. Maybe that? And then we just do these? Yeah, that looks pretty good. 8th death. And when was that? 08, 13, 24. At what time was that at? Looks like 6:47. 6:47 p.m. And there we go. There's death number 8. And number 7, if you watched to the end of last episode, happened out here in the water, and we're going to do something a little special for this one since it is on the water. So we're going to head out with a boat over to that location. So this should be roughly where our other death was. So we'll put a boat down, this bamboo raft, and what we'll do is we'll align it up. Maybe something like this. And then we'll grab, maybe we'll use these bits of granite here just to pillar ourselves up so that we can actually line this up nicely. So we want to kind of like turn this into a raft thing by using the raft to have like the oars, so it's almost gonna be like a canoe. So we'll kind of bump that up right there, that we can jump out, and I believe I can actually put a slab on that. Perfect, and then we can remove these blocks. And now we've got ourselves at least a decent shape for like a raft here. I was thinking I could put, you know, a fence right there to kind of be almost like the steering bit or something like that. And then I can try to get up here if I can if I can do things. Can I put a... Ooh, okay. I don't know if that's where I want that necessarily. So I'm experimenting to try to get things like looking more like a boat shape. So I got a variety of blocks to kind of help me achieve that. What I'm thinking what I might need to do is take trapdoors and do that. Oh, okay. Not exactly what I'm after. Let's try this. Okay, this is really awkward. There we go. Get on the boat. Nope, okay. I might need to remove this first. Build the part I need, and then come back and drop the boat inside, maybe? I'll have to see if I can even get that in there. Like that, and I can like ride the boat into here. What if I pull these up now? Ah! Okay, that's kind of working. Maybe I can pull this back just a bit. So much fiddle. Struggles. Nope, this is not working. There we go. That also doesn't work so well. Okay. Oof. I've never built a boat like this, so I am struggling muchly. So what I could do is I brought myself a fence gate. So I can put the fence gate in there, and then I can open it. Oh, is that going to stop the water completely? Can I even waterlog that? I cannot waterlog it. Though I guess it kind of makes it look like it's pushing the water around, right? Even though it's a bit weird looking. But I think I'll go for it. That is not where that campfire should go. But we'll see what we can do about it. Remove you. Put in a full block. And then we can still put our sign on the back. In fact, maybe I'll put it here. Hello, skeleton. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It does give us a bit of a boat shape. I think I actually might want to remove these side trap doors. And then I can put a sign here to give that a bit more of a rounded fill. Yeah, that's not too bad. In fact, that might be all we need, other than I actually do need fences for the grave part, the sign part. So we'll go right here. Oh, that. That's gonna look silly. I need a stair. I'll have to go to stair and bring that back. Anyways. This is so much a struggle. Okay. So I go that, and then I go like that, and then I drop this on the front, like that. Okay. Yes, once that turns into a stair, that'll look much better. But now that we're no longer being a scroll— Ow. Can you leave me alone? Alright. No, he can't. Skeleton dealt with. And boat complete. I think that turned out pretty good, actually, for a tiny little boat. But now what we need to do is make our way over to the sign. We want to do 7th death. And then we want to put in the date, which was 08/18/24. At what time was that one at? Looks like it was 10:17 a.m. on that one. And there we go. We finished off our 2 new graves. Alright, I need to remember to put my reasonings as an Easter egg. Killed by pillager, tried to get it in boat. And now we gotta go put the grave and flower for the other one. Flower! Boop! Take out these two, put those in. That and that, and campfire. That one's complete. And I just thought, one last touch I could do for the eye sign. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I'm getting super distracted. Build, bucket, clutch. I also want to put this banner on this boat over there because I feel like it fits because of the reason why I died over there. Hello, little boat. I have one last little detail for you. Get in there. Then we can go up here and boop. Sure. Ah? Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Let's move over a bit so we can look at it better. Something like... the angle's so hard to get. Right there. Perfect. Well, now that we've built ourselves a tower, fixed up our last two graves so we have them in the world somewhere, I think that's going to be it for the episode. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.